Looking ahead to the trading week beginning March 10th, CPI data is due out Wednesday of next week. And stocks may be affected by that. And that's a big deal considering we just had our third straight weekly drop in the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell, and our second straight weekly drop in the Dow. And these price drops have been substantial on a percentage basis. With that in mind, since the election, this administration has been discussing reducing inflation by reducing energy prices. Now, people can argue all day whether this administration gets credit for the drop in oil prices or not. But since the inauguration, WTI crude oil prices have dropped by over 12%. Now, this is the February CPI data that we're getting on Wednesday. So we can see how much that drop in oil prices has affected actual prices so far in a broader way. We also have the OPEC monthly report next week, which could move crude oil prices in one direction or the other. Only the 2-year yield moved decisively this past week, dropping by about 5 basis points. The rest of the yield curve remained basically unchanged. However, some things that could affect interest rates this coming week include U.S. auctions for 3-year notes, 10-year notes, and 30-year bonds, as well as a 10-year German Bund issuance. Another government shutdown looms, and without a debt ceiling agreement, essential services are at risk while lawmakers negotiate some sort of solution. Now, to avoid a partial government shutdown next week, Congress needs to pass new funding legislation or another continuing resolution before March 14th. Earnings and eco data next week. Let's start with earnings. 56 stocks reporting earnings next week with over $1 billion or more in market cap, including Oracle, Adobe, Ciena Corp, DocuSign, BioNTech, Dollar General, Dick's Sporting Goods, Ulta Beauty, and Casey General Stores, among others. Data next week, Monday, German industrial production and Japanese GDP. Tuesday in the U.S., JOLTS jobs openings data. Wednesday, a Bank of Canada rate decision and U.S. CPI that I already talked about. Thursday, EU industrial production and U.S. PPI. And then Friday, UK GDP, industrial production in the U.S., and March Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations in the U.S. as well.